I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't hear. That my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear the thoughts build up until I can't hear. That my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. About 3 weeks ago, we heard that the Texas District Attorney offered Kaitlin Armstrong a plea deal. Now, that doesn't mean that the plea deal was offered 3 weeks ago. It means that's when we heard it was offered. And this plea deal may have involved Kaitlin serving 15 years. It could have also been about 25 years, 15 to 25 years, in exchange for an admission of guilt. Now, according to an article in the Daily Mail, the plea deal that the Austin-based attorney Garza offered Armstrong could have shaved years off a potential life sentence if she's convicted at trial. She could have been released from prison in her 50s or 60s. Bear in mind, she's 35 years old. I think 35, 36 years old at the moment, which is a heck of a lot sooner than if she's convicted by a jury and gets life in prison, which is certainly on the cards. And what is really interesting is that this was against the advice of her attorney. And the fact that her attorney advised her to take the plea deal suggests someone that's quite headstrong, someone that thinks she knows better, someone that's quite opinionated, someone that's quite emotional about her own affairs. And if you think about that and the person who possibly committed this crime, someone who's hard-headed, stubborn, and takes a kind of emotional route rather than a logical route, it certainly is a quite interesting way of looking at it. And if you think about this idea that she was insisting on trying her case only to flee again, well, she's not really insisting on trying her case, is she? She was actually bargaining on, wasn't she? She was bargaining on being able to escape accountability, just as she was bargaining on that the first time round, right? Now, it may be Kaitlin, against the advice of attorney, basically back to her own chances at a second escape. Not so much at beating the charges against her in court, but basically that she could that she could cheat the whole system, that she could elude the authorities. And it's possible that she also has underestimated the state's case against her. But I must say, I think if you feel that she wanted to take her chances in court and was prepared to take her chances in court, she really wouldn't have tried to run away. She wouldn't have felt it was necessary to run away. And so that does suggest she probably feels the walls are moving in around her. But anyway, where we are right now, that ship, the sort of settlement ship, the plea deal ship, seems to have well and truly sailed. Even so, last week, Kaitlin's defense applied for community supervision if convicted. It's actually quite incredible. Think about that. Basically saying, if Kaitlin is convicted, can she just be placed not in like a kind of a prison facility, but just kind of have the much softer and lighter community supervision? Basically arguing that she's a first-time offender. Let's read some of the contents of that application for community supervision. Comes now Kaitlin Armstrong, the defendant in the above-styled and numbered cause prior to the commencement of trial in this case, and states that they have never before been convicted of a felony offense in this state, in any other state, or in any court of the United States, and that they are not otherwise disqualified from consideration for community supervision. The defendant prays that in the event of a conviction in this case, that the imposition of sentence be suspended and that they be placed on community supervision as provided by Article 42.12, Section 3 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. And so what we're really dealing with here is, it seems after just 3 days of trial, 2 or 3 days of trial, Armstrong is already anticipating conviction of some kind. Again, it's the sense of trying to slip out of accountability, trying to elude what is possibly, kind of coming for her in a legal sense. And she's already asking for some sort of leniency. Do you think she should get it? This could also be an indication that the defense are open to another settlement offer. Now, I'm not clear on how trial law works exactly in terms of this area, but I suspect once a trial is underway, I think there's a sort of a deadline where a plea deal is still kind of in the offing and where it can be negotiated, and then when that deadline passes, then the trial process basically becomes the only option. And I think we're in that sort of process at the moment. I think it's too late now to entertain plea deal options. And I think this is the best that her defense can kind of offer her, is an application for community supervision. I really don't think that is going to be granted. What do you think? Now, what's also interesting are the words Colin Strickland, that is Mo's ex-boyfriend, also Kaitlin Armstrong's ex, this other individual who's part of this love triangle. He testified on Friday. It's quite interesting some of the words that Colin Strickland used to describe Kaitlin Armstrong. And obviously when he's talking about her, the way he talks about her and the terms that he uses, these are really important, because no one, I wouldn't say no one, but very few people knew her as well as he did at the time that all of this happened. And so apparently he said, and this was reported in News Nation, but he was talking about Kaitlin's jealousy and whether it became more evident in early 2022, a really important question. Now, was Kaitlin becoming more jealous in early 2022? Bear in mind the murder happened in May. And she was given a gun, I think in December, somewhere around there. And the breakup between them happened, I think, around October, November. And so the question was, did Kaitlin become more jealous? They were in an on-off relationship. Was her jealousy now more evident? And what's really incredible is that at one point, Kaitlin told Colin to send her love to Mo, right? Kaitlin said to Colin, send my love to Mo. And that was after he posted an Instagram video with Wilson in the background. And so obviously she saw that and made this sort of cynical remark. Did she really mean that? Did she really mean to send her love? Or was there kind of a dark symbolism behind those words? And so this was something that Colin Strickland revealed in court on Friday. And alongside that statement, he also said he felt what she said there was extremely passive-aggressive. In other words, that is how he characterized Kaitlin within that scenario, as extremely passive-aggressive. Not just passive-aggressive, extremely passive-aggressive. And I think that is quite a strong statement from Colin. Now, I do think much of the efficacy of this case, whether it's in terms of the prosecution or the defense, it rides on the extent to which Strickland is going to disclose dirty laundry, whether he's going to open up the can of worms and reveal the actual dynamics that he experienced with his ex-girlfriend. Was she jealous? Well, how jealous was she? Could she get triggered emotionally? Well, how emotional could she get? Well, perhaps we're going to find some of those answers on Monday, which is when the trial continues. I'm not going to take it further than that. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.